Hello and welcome to the 5th tutorial in the Create Your Own Tardis series. Today we're going to be doing stuff like the putting hinges on the doors, or kind of things that imitate hinges, and we're basically going to be finishing off the rest of the TARDIS, joining everything together that we need to, adding a lamp in at the top, and doing all that kind of stuff. First thing we need to do, I was talking about creating the two front doors so they open, so you can open them by just rotating them, and you know they open out like doors. So that's pretty easy to do. All you need to do first is apply the array modifier. Let's apply. No, first Control Z. We want to duplicate that and send it to another layer for safekeeping, just in case we make any mistakes, which I often do. So now we've got that, we can just press apply, and now with our door we just need to go to edit mode, and there is all our doors, and what we want to do is we want to select the two front doors without selecting any of the others and then separate them. So now what we want to do is we want to go here where it says limit selection to visible, this kind of cubey thing with all the things, and just click that. And now you can see you can't see through any of the objects, which is good for selecting things. Now what we could do is we could just go like that, or box select them and then box select all the little bits, trying not to select any other bit. But there's a much easier way to do it. You can just click one vertice and then as you can see, these are kind of in sections, separate sections. So if we click one vertice and then press Control L, then it will select all the vertices that are connected to the vertice that you selected. So if we click one vertice from each of these panels on the door, and then do Control L, it will select all of them. It will select both the doors. So now what we want to do is we want to press P, and then Selection, and then we can see that we've actually separated the front two doors from the other doors. So what we want to do now quickly is we want to join the back doors to the frame and the roof. So let's just do that quickly, checking that none of these have modifiers. Right, good. Now if we just select these back doors, make sure they're those ones, not that one, and then select that one. Yep, and then we press Control J, that links them, and then with this we then go to this one, so with that one, and Shift select that one, so press Shift and then right click on that one, and then go Control J, and you can see we've got a whole back TARDIS, we've got it all connected up. So now we want to do, because the back windows are now kind of, opaque, we just want to go in here where it says has the cube, and then we just want to press transparency. There we go. Now we've got these two doors. Obviously we don't want them to be both rotating at the same time. So what we're doing now is what we need to do is separate these two front doors that we had separated. So we're just doing the same thing that we did before, pressing P and separating them. So now you see we have two separate doors at the front, and if we hide the back doors by pressing H, and then we can bring them back by just pressing Alt H. We haven't deleted them, we're just hiding them. So now if we go into edit mode, we can select these vertices here, and we can press cursor selected, Shift S, cursor selected, there we go. And then what I'm going to do, going out of edit mode, is Shift Control Alt C, and then go to the one that says Origin to 3D Cursor. And what that is it's the rotation center. So basically, the center of rotation for the object. So what the object rotates around. So if we rotate it now along the Z-axis, so RZ, you see it's rotating around that point, so it looks like it has a door hinge. so we can open it much like a door. So there we are. Now, if we just bring the rest of the TARDIS back, Alt-H, so we can see it properly. I'd just like to mention that we hid the TARDIS just so we could do things like that, you know, more easily, so we can see our doors more easily. So now if we just hide it again with H and go back into our door, and what we're going to do now is we're going to, you see the centre bit here, I'm just going to make it a bit bigger. So if we select those ones down the edge there, not the ones in the centre, but the ones just off the ones at the centre, and then we drag them along there, so you see it, that window divider there, so it looks like is much bigger than the rest of them, so you can see that's where the doors separate. So I'm just going to do that on the other door as well. If we just do that, the same thing on the other door, the disadvantage of not having it as a mirror like that, or having them separate objects. Careful not to select the centre ones. There we go. And now if we do that, actually I'm just there you go. We have two doors like that. There. Actually I'm just going to try and make them a bit quite similar as you can, as wider. There we go. Now on this door, there we go. And now of course, just select all those. The same thing as we did for the other door. So select these three vertices here. Do Shift to select Control Alt C. And then Origin to 3D cursor, Shift Control Alt C, and now that door moves as well. Origin to 3D cursor. So now if we bring the rest of our TARDIS back, so bringing back we have both our doors, H, they're open, and now we can rotate the doors like that. Sorry, and there it is, and open. There we go. Our TARDIS. Right. What we're going to do now is we're going to do the door handle. So what we want to do is we don't have the door handle around this area. So if we just do there, this Shift S cursor selected. Oh, cursor was already there. Anyway, and then we're gonna add a cube. Oh, it's a bit big. Anyway, if we shrink it down with S to it's the right size, just pretty small, random size. I'm just gonna have it right that size-ish, and then left click to put it in place. There we go. Now if I press full stop on my numpad and zoom in onto the cube, ooh, quite a big gap there actually. I'm gonna move it up. I'm gonna shrink it down a little more and move it up. Now the first thing I'm gonna do is out of here, I'm gonna then, making sure I haven't moved the cursor, I'm gonna do Shift Control Alt C, Origin to 3D cursor. So now it's kind of like it's rotating around there. Obviously we don't want it rotating because it's a door handle. Is a fixed door handle, so but this is just for randomness. Anyway, no, sorry, this is for the mirror modifier. So if we add a modifier, a mirror modifier, then you and then we do it along the z-axis, then you see it's mirrored from the origin, which is also another use for the origin. Now, I'm just going to bring these out a bit more. But first I'm going to shrink them down along the y-axis, and then I'm going to bring them out, like that. And I'm going to select this bit, making sure the limit selection to visible is turned off, and then selecting them, so I can select all the way through. And then I'm going to press E, and then I'm going to move it down along the z-axis, just a little. Oh, sorry. So, left click, and then G, Z. Down. Now I'm going to select in face select mode. I'm going to select that face there. I'm going to move it up along the y-axis, and then I'm going to move it up again a tiny bit. And now what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to get these ones. Actually, I'm going to get this face, making sure clipping's turned on. There. I'm going to extrude it. Sorry, along the z-axis until it meets there. So there, so far we have a kind of squarish door handle. I'd like it a little more rounded than that, so I'm going to turn on subdivision surface, and then it does look a bit weird, I admit, but if we press smooth here, then it starts to look a little better. Which I'm gonna see these little arrows here. I'm gonna press the up arrow on the subsurface modifier, which moves it up above the mirror modifier. So then I could just move it down. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press N to bring up the properties thing for the object. I'm going to go here where it says me increase, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag it to 1. So there we go. So it's doing that, and then actually I'm just going to get the bit there. I'm going to make it go out a bit more. There we go. Just one last thing. I'm going to move that down a little, and that down a little, so it's a bit thicker there. There we go. That is our basic door handle. It doesn't have to look too good because it's just going to be seen for it. Shouldn't be. Well, it doesn't even. Well, it doesn't need to constantly be seen from close up, unless you do want to do a close up. But then even then, it won't necessarily be seen for too long. But otherwise, you can just edit it around until it maybe looks a little better for your taste. Up to you. I'm just going to move that down a bit. There we go. But just a basic door handle shape is fine. And now what I'm just going to do is I'm going to do Shift-D, and then I'm going to shrink it down a little, and then I'm going to move it along the x-axis, shrink it down again, move it there, down a little, and move it there. There we go. So now we have 2 handles on both doors. Now, actually yes, I think I will now make the handles part of the door, because that's just easier. So if I just go here and I apply the subsurf modifier, because otherwise it will make the door subsurfed as well, which we don't want, and then apply here where it's got the mirror modifier. If I just look here to see why. There we go. What I did there is I just highlighted it in edit mode and pressed Ctrl N, and that recalculated the normals, which made the black bit go. So if I just do that in this one, it can't do it yet because I haven't done this. There we go. So the nasty black bit has gone now. Now if I click this door handle and then click on the door and then go Ctrl J, it is now part of the door, and oh dear, it's a different texture as well, which we don't want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the textures panel. I'm going to add a new texture, and I'm going to make it a kind of slightly reflective colour, so you know, kind of a shiny metal floor. So I'm just going to turn up the reflectivity by a teeny weeny bit. I'm not going to make it transparent or anything, obviously. I'm going to keep the specular around where it is, maybe turn it down to 0.3. I'm just doing most of this randomly, but you can obviously go into much more detail if you like. I'm going to name the material for now Shiny Grey, and then I'm going to go on to this one, click there, and Shiny Grey. There we go. So they're both Shiny Grey at the moment. So now if I click the door handle, Shift, click the door, Control J, they are now one object, like that. And now if I get this door handle and click that door, Shift click that door, Control J, and they're now one object. So those are our door handles done. So now let's just see what they look like in the render. So if I press F12, that is what it looks like so far. Actually, you can't really see it because the light isn't in the right place yet, but I'll probably teach you how to do that in another tutorial. Anyway, so now we've done the door handles, I think what we'll move on to is the light, which is the next most important bit. So if I zoom in on this bit and save,